Hi, hello. Welcome to another webinar of our IT Tuesdays, where we discuss matters regarding IT law and technology. And today we'll be talking about the ethics guidelines for trustworthy artificial intelligence that were issued by the European Commission, in particular the European Commission's high-level group on artificial intelligence. Before starting, I would just want to ask if you are hearing me well, if the sound and the image are okay, and if you can also see the slides, the PowerPoint. Okay, well, I'll assume that everything is okay. Okay, thanks. Thanks for confirming, Stephen. So I'll assume that everything is okay. So I'll start. So artificial intelligence has become an area of strategic importance and a key driver of economic development. There are lots of applications that can be used, so it can bring a quick, innovative solutions to many areas and societal changes. One of them, which is probably one of the most discussed ones, are the self-driving vehicles, but that's not everything. So we've got machine learning, we've got decision making. So there's analytics to a certain extent. So there is a lot of things that could be considered to some extent artificial intelligence. So it's a new and not always comprehending technology, but there are still issues that have to be tackled, and most importantly, we need to develop the trust of the citizens. When we speak of artificial intelligence, there is no way that we would escape from those thoughts of rise of machines, the Matrix, where for some strange way humans become an inferior race to that of the machines. But that it's not the case, doesn't have to be the case, but it should be, the artificial intelligence should be developed in a way that does not become a possibility. And although this is kind of a science fiction, and these concerns have a little bit of science fiction, the truth is that the European Commission's high-level group on artificial intelligence elaborated and published, so this was already in April 2009, so the ethics guidelines for trustworthy artificial intelligence. Basically, it aims to promote artificial intelligence and ethical technology, which should respect principles and values, compliance with applicable laws and regulations. And the idea will go a little bit through these guidelines. And these are only guidelines, meaning that this is not being put into law. Okay. So the first question is, what is artificial intelligence? And the truth is that it's not always clear what artificial intelligence is. It comprises a lot of things. So that, let's say, you can be described as a system that analyzes its environment and takes actions and decisions with some degree of autonomy to achieve a specific goal. It could be completely software-based. It could act also, acting only on the virtual world, for instance, voice assistants, search engines, which are usually based on some type of analytics, but it can also be a system embedded in hardware devices, and that would be robots, drones, and the most prolific case of self-autonomous cars or other Internet of Things applications. Let's say the idea is there are decision-making, autonomous decision-making based on the environment. So the capacity to take decisions based on on a stimulus that is provided to the machine. So one of the main questions of you as a society, which is, what can artificial intelligence give us? So that's why is it considered to be such an amazing system? Does it really bring advantages? Can it transform society, specifically transform society in a positive way? If it can increase the well-being of we as humanity, the operationalization of natural resources, bring process and innovation. So there are lots of possibilities that artificial intelligence brings, and I would say they are mostly positive. That there are expectations that at the level of medicines, that they could increase the possibility of research of medicines, therapeutics in a huge way. So that's that we are all very excited about this. But things that artificial intelligence, in order to be helpful, it needs to be human-centric. So the high-level expert group on AI, so it presented its guidelines, which were subject to consultation and to comments, and then it creates some of its core principles and values. It should be ethical. Technology should be ethical. It should respect principles and values, and moreover, it should comply with the law. So these are the three main components that the ethical artificial intelligence system should have. So it should be lawful. So it means that the systems, the software, the hardware, it should comply with the law. And the law here includes a lot of things. It includes the treaties of the European Union, the regulations, directives, the European Charter of Fundamental Rights, all European secondary law, and some examples are GDPR, consumer law, in the context of financial systems, also the financing regulations, money laundering, obviously the human rights, and in particular respect to the United Nations Human Rights Treaties, the Council on Europe Conventions, and obviously each EU member state law, and transposing these, although the concern of the guidelines are European-wide level, transposing this, it should also comply with the laws on other states where it will be applicable. So all these laws should be mandatory and must be duly observed. On the other hand, artificial intelligence should also be ethical, so it should ensure adherence to ethical principles and values. I would say most of them would be including on these human rights treaties, on the conventions, on the EU charters of rights. But in any case, there is also these ethical principles that should also be verified. It's harder to understand exactly what they are, but they also should be. So it's not as concrete, but they also should be. And then they should be real robust. So meaning that operating the same should not be able to cause unintentional and obviously also intentional harm, both from a technical and social perspective, to perform a safe, secure, reliable manner. So each component of the AI, either the hardware and software, should be created and operated in a way that there are escapes to allow this robustness. So, and the idea is that all these three components, so the lawful, ethical, and the robust artificial intelligence, should work together and overlap in their operation. So the foundations of trustworthy artificial intelligence. So believes that they should be based on the fundamental rights cherished by international human rights law. So the EU Charter and other EU treaties. So it could have a big impact on people's life, well-being, health, not only physical, but mostly mental health. They should be in line with these fundamental rights, should be subject to human dignity, respect for democracy and justice, equality, non-discrimination, solidarity, as well as the citizens' rights as individuals, considered as individuals for themselves. So that there's these concerns that have to be verified. And from these fundamental rights, there are 4 ethical principles that should be considered imperative and which may be respected in order to ensure that today's systems are developed and used in a trustworthy manner. So, and these ethical principles, they are the respect for human autonomy, prevention of harm, fairness, and explicability. And so, regarding the respect for the human autonomy, so this means that while interacting with artificial intelligence systems, humans should be able to keep self-determination over themselves, over the systems, without being subordinated, deceived, coerced, or manipulated by the artificial intelligence. So the artificial intelligence should support humans in their working environment or social environment, empower their cognitive, social, and cultural skills, and should not act in a way that they would manipulate the humans. On the other hand, there is the principle of the prevention of harm. So the idea is to make sure that no artificial intelligence will maliciously affect human beings. So it's trying to protect the human dignity as well as mental and physical integrity, and simultaneously and close to it, so the artificial intelligence system should also follow the principles of fairness. This is a large, broad concept, but it should be able to focus on equal and just distribution of the benefits that artificial intelligence could bring. Sorry. And benefits and costs, so without discrimination or stigmatization, there's equal opportunity of access in terms of access to it, also to education, to goods, services, and technology. And also, and very importantly, the artificial intelligence system should be explicable. So the idea is that the process needs to be transparent, and the capabilities and purpose of artificial intelligence system should be openly communicated and decisions perfectly explained, so that when needed, if one would verify it, they could be duly understand the system, and if needed could be duly contested. And I would say I would call your attention to this principle, especially of the prevention of harm, and because this is something that has been not always respected. And for instance, there are a few these are more on experiments, but a lot of bots, in particular talking bots or discussion bots, that have been using some degree machine learning, although not a perfect artificial intelligence, that they tend to be, after a while, become rude, aggressive, discriminatory. So this means that within its conception, they were not thought in a way to prevent the harm. So there is this idea that when they are put into place, created or experimented, they should be have some sound, robust systems that would allow to prevent this harm from occurring. So from the aforementioned principles, the European Commission's high-level group on artificial intelligence consider that the principles in itself are not enough on their own, and that they should be translated in concrete requirements in order to achieve a trustworthy artificial intelligence. So, and the guidelines presents a non-exhaustive list of 7 requirements in order to assure that those 4 ethical principles that I have discussed. And so I'll see each of them individually. So we have the human agency and the oversight. So the artificial intelligence system can enable under fundamental rights, tracking personal data, increase accessibility of education. But on the other hand, the artificial intelligence users should be given the knowledge to interact with such systems in a satisfactory degree. So challenge the system when necessary. So the idea is that it will be support individuals in making better, more informed choices. In any case, they consider that fully autonomous artificial intelligence systems, they are not desirable, so that human oversight is needed to make sure that artificial intelligence will not undermine human autonomy. And there are 3 mechanisms that they agree that they think that should be included within an artificial intelligence system. So either a human in the loop, so which is the capability for human intervention in every decision cycle of the system, or a human on the loop, so it's only capacity to oversee the overall activity of the artificial intelligence systems and to intervene only and when it's necessary, so it's more on a supervision capacity, or human in command, which is capability to oversee the overall activity of their system and the ability to decide when and how to use the system in any particular situation. So it's kind of an on-off trigger in the system. On the other hand, in the respect of technical robustness and safety, they should have the technical requirements which are linked to the prevention of harm. So it's necessary that the artificial intelligence systems are protected against vulnerabilities like hacking, which would allow third parties to access and to exploit those vulnerabilities. It must be assured that the artificial intelligence will do what it is supposed to do without harming its living beings, which safeguards enable a fallback plan in case of problems, that there should be accuracy in the classifying information into proper categories to make correct predictions or recommendations, and the reliability of artificial intelligence capacity of exhibits and behavior when repeated under the same conditions, which is kind of this reliability and reproducibility of the system. Then we have the privacy and data governance, so it should also be assured. So it is an important requirement that the AI systems must guarantee privacy and data protection throughout the entire system's life cycle. This includes information provided by the user and generated about the users, the users, or any third parties data that regarding which the system uses data. That the data should be of good quality and integrity, without any inaccuracies, errors, or mistakes, and only qualified personnel with competence and the need to access individuals' data should be allowed to do so. Transparency should also be very important, so the data and the decisions made by the AI systems should be documented as best as possible in order to be traceable and to prevent future mistakes from the already identified errors. So the decisions should be understandable for the human beings. So they have the right to be informed that they are interacting to artificial intelligence systems, as well as its capabilities and the limitations. And then it should be able to assure diversity, non-discrimination, fairness, so which are important requirements too. So a discriminatory bias should be removed. in the collection phase, in order to eliminate discrimination against certain groups of people. The system must be designed in a way that allows all people to use artificial intelligence products regardless of their age, gender, abilities, disabilities, or characteristics, so a kind of fair access to it. And then it should be, when developing the artificial intelligence, it is advisable to consult stakeholders who may be affected throughout its life cycle. So this principle of stakeholder participation. Other principles, societal and environmental well-being. So the AI system should promise, or at least try to help tackling some of the most pressing societal concerns and they should do it in a most environmental friendly way possible. Other effect is that it must be carefully monitored and considered the social impact. So they should be used to enhance social skills, but things that they can usually contribute to their deterioration. So this is something that should be considered. And then it's also advisable that the systems are monitored in order to prevent physical and mental weakening as a consequence of our decisions. The things that they are afraid that if we do not no longer take any decisions, because all our decisions are taken by the artificial intelligence systems, that this may bring some to a decline of the human being as a whole, so a global declining of our mental capacities. So the system should be seen from a societal perspective, and try to take into consideration that we live in a democracy and try to assure the democracy and the equality of us as living in a society. Then the use of artificial intelligence systems should also be given careful consideration relating to the democratic process, including not only political decision making but also electoral contexts. Because that's and well, let's say it was not subject to the matter in case was not the artificial intelligence, but there are discussions about the intervention in the United States elections within the context of the systems third-party systems and the software that could have been helped, in particular on the 2016 elections. But in any case, that's something that should be taken in consideration also when preparing artificial intelligence systems. And the final requirement is the accountability, which can be divided in auditability and the minimization of negative impacts, trade-offs, and redress. The auditability presumes that AI systems should be able to independently be audited by internal or external auditors. And then that's the main important part of it. So as I told you, so these are only guidelines, and this is not yet been placed into any type of law. I'm not sure if they will be or not. But in any case, this is something that should be taken into consideration. But one thing that's important is that when implementing these guidelines for trustworthy, so which should be taking into consideration both technical and non-technical considerations, such as, and then I would say on the non-technical considerations, we should take in consideration codes of conduct, the existence of codes of conduct, the stakeholder participation, social dialogue, in a way that allows this to an intervention on this, so that the concerns are well addressed. In any case, AI systems are continuously evolving and acting in a dynamic environment, so the methods employed should be always constantly evaluated, reported, and if necessary, changed. So this is basically a brief description of the guidelines. I'm not sure if anyone has any question. I'll be happy, so you can make some questions here in the chat, and to the extent that I'm able to answer you, I'll be delighted to do so. Not sure. I'm focusing mostly on European regulations, and I would say China is a big mystery to me. I would say it's a mystery to most of the Western civilization, and I'm not sure if there is any Chinese effort or any Chinese guidelines in this respect. I'm not able to confirm. I can try to do some research, but I have to say I have not actively looked into it. But I guess your concern is that, and I'm not sure. Maybe I'm putting words in your mouth that if we are concerned with these ethical issues, that this may delay the development of artificial intelligence in detriment to the Chinese, who may not have these considerations. Not sure if this will be the case or not, but I think it's better to have a good AI than a fast AI. We are, let's say, the doomsday machine. It's a scientific or science fiction concept. This does not mean that it's not present in everybody's subconscious. So that's. But the things that not all artificial intelligence has even the potential to be a doomsday machine, even if it's not care. Because let's say the concept of artificial intelligence includes a broad spectrum of things. From I gave some examples. So you've got the chatbots in Facebook, on social media, on websites, and I doubt that they are able to trigger a doomsday event. You have self-driving cars, you have robots and industrial robots for doing so. So I would say that at least at the current stage, it's not expected that any doomsday event would arise. And not sure if there are any other questions. Okay. Well, if there are no other questions, it has been a pleasure to speak with you. You have also my contacts in slides. So these are our general contacts. You can also have my personal contact in here, and please feel free to email me if you have any questions in this respect. Thanks and bye. See you next time.